me again. Today's date is August 13th, 2023. It's a Sunday. And another step in the never-ending and impenetrable succession of super hot days. Today's another very hot day. It's currently 107 degrees outside. It's very hot. It's very hot. And let me start this by saying that this is not financial advice. This is entertainment. Hence I wear a costume. Are you not entertained? So what happened with MMTLP? Well, last week 2 things happened. Earlier in the week, there was a press release from Nextbridge Hydrocarbons stating that Greg McCabe is buying the note from Meta, as you might be duly familiar with. And if you're not, this is what it pertains to. Nextbridge needed funding when it was Oilco to drill the obligatory continuous drilling clause wells on the Oro Grande. Part of the lease agreement from University Land is they have to drill so many wells per year, every year. Okay. And that's partly how they get such a cheap lease. Drilling takes money. Meta did raise quite a bit of funding from Torchlight back in June of 2021, right before the merger. They actually raised quite a bit of money. Meta lent out some of that money to Nextbridge. And then they lent out another loan. And there was a lot of rumors going by, a lot of it negative, stating that, Nextbridge is going to default on this, and Meta's going to own the Oro Grande. Even though Greg McCabe was the grantor, meaning that if Nextbridge couldn't pay, he would have to pay. Also, Meta has stated several times that they are not an energy company. They are a green Canadian company, and if you want to keep some of that grant money and that funding that comes with being a green company in Canada, you cannot do hydrocarbons. Well, in a twist of fate, Greg McCabe bought it back from Meta, because Meta needs money. Kind of like after the French Revolution, America bought back France too, which was the Louisiana Purchase. But guess what? Greg McCabe brought back that loan. So the fears, uncertainty, and doubt that were pertaining around Nextbridge not having to pay back that loan have been quelled. And now for our fish tank update. Here's today's update on the fish tank. There's anthracite back there. And there's a little Cory cat right here. He's so small. I gotta trim this thing. This plant's still growing crazy. And this pogo stem narrowleaf is going berserk. And a lot of the parrot feather, like the feathering part's up here now. It's all stalks down here. So if I trim it, I'm not sure it's gonna happen. But that's my fish tank right now. It's very green. Lots of plants. I had some red root floaters in here I talked about last week. Those aren't doing so great. But the frog bit's doing good. I've never been successful with red root floaters. I'm not sure what parameter that plant is looking for. But everything else in here seems to be doing good. This Vesuvius sword is going crazy. And anthracite's doing pretty well. In addition to Greg McCabe buying the loan that Metamaterials lent out to Nextbridge, Terry, by the dip Terry, had discovered this on YouTube last week. It's a video of some of the people from Nextbridge saying, "Hi, we're here again. It's me again." But they're standing in front of an office door, wearing clothes, and they're not sweating at all. And I'm like, wait, what? You're not sweating. I don't get that. You're not drenched in sweat? Is there a shower in that office? Or, does the air conditioner work well enough in their cars where they're not sweating? Because it's crazy here. How can you not be covered in sweat right now and wear that those type of clothes. It's insane. And my feet got covered in fire ant bites the other day. I was outside the other day and I was watering some plants. My feet are still red and itchy. Lots of fire ants. Fire ants are terrible right now because it's so dry. Any bit of moisture, they're there. They are there. Also, rattlesnakes are pretty bad at my house right now, so there's lots of rattlesnakes everywhere. Watch out where you step. So if I'm walking anywhere where I'm not going to be able to see very well, I put on my snake boots. And it seems to be that this was from the Fort Worth office because Clifton DeBow said, I grew up here in Fort Worth and I was in Midland and now I'm back at Fort Worth. So this apparently is at the Fort Worth office, judging by the syntax of the video. The last question I get, and I get this quite a bit still, is do you have to register your shares to AST? The answer is no. You are under no obligation from anybody to register your shares. You don't have to. And then the next question is, well, what happens if I don't register my shares? Nothing. You still get NextBridge. You will still get NextBridge if you don't register your shares. What are the benefits to registering your shares? The benefits of registering your shares are that you will receive an extra percentage of the Oro Grande, and you will receive the NewCo share, which is rights to an oil property in Louisiana, the 900-acre oil property in Louisiana, which we're still finding more information out about now. But if you don't want to register your shares, that's fine. It's your own personal choice. Not everybody can register their shares. There's benefits to registering, and then there's some benefits if you don't register your shares. Even though the S1 is not effective, and the S1 states that you'll have within 60 days of it becoming effective to register your shares, with AST to get the extra bonus NewCo share. Some brokerages have in place a timeline once again, which is interesting because, there's a theory that if you register your shares with AST, that takes the liability off the broker's hands because the shares not at the broker anymore. However, if this were the case, like the liability would be off the broker's hands, why aren't brokers making it very easy for a lot of people just to send their shares over? Instead, a lot of brokers want money. Some of them want $100+. Some of them give you a very narrow window and you have to go fill out physical paperwork and go get it notarized. Like in the case of JP Morgan, they gave me a piece of paper and they're like, go get this physically notarized. I must go on that quest. Time to go on a quest to go get stuff notarized. Bird Lady, are you registering your shares? I've registered only what's at JP Morgan right now. Everything else, I'll keep it with the broker, but I'll register what's at JP Morgan. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the ones that are registered and the ones that aren't registered. And finally, let's look at it from this point of view. Let's say they're now producing oil, and they're going to sell this oil. Okay, they make a profit. Now they disperse a dividend to us, the shareholders. What Tony and I had calculated out was we did a very rough interpolation of about 480 million extra shares that are out there. Let's say NextBridge doles out a dividend, even if it's a small dividend from this oil production. Let's say it's small. 10 cents will be easy. Small dividend, every quarter 10 cents. You're going to have a lot of fudsters saying, yeah, look, it's only 10 cents. Okay, great. Hey, that's their jab. They're going to spin everything negative. That's cool. If there's only 480 million outstanding shares at 10 cents, you're looking at brokerages producing about $48 million of that. If there's a billion shares and the dividend's 10 cents, Now all of a sudden, brokers have to shell out $100 million because they owe you that dividend. The shares are way overlent. Remember the calls people were getting? Many people reported to me calls. Many people recorded the calls for me from places like TD. Hey, you want to lend out some shares? Letters. Hey, you want to lend out some shares? Pretty much right before the halt. Hey, you want to lend out some shares? If this was very overlent and those lent out shares were sold and longs bought them, then the broker is obliged to deliver on that. They sold you a real share. Oh no, we only sell the pure shares. So if NextBridge starts producing oil and there's 480 million outstanding shares, this is not related to the extra shares, with Greg McCabe coming on. This was like in relation to MMTLP. What brokers owe you? Then yes, it's all this $48 million is what they pay over all the brokerages that had this. And if it's $1 billion, then it's 100 million shares every quarter. So that'd be 400 million a year if there was really $1 billion outstanding shares. And again, this is my own personal opinion, my own hypothesis. You are just watching one bird, giving my opinion and my thoughts. Okay, guys, my foot is very itchy from those fire ant bites. That's it for today. I will see you soon. Goodbye.